Greetings and welcome. It says, containing diversity, bridging difference. Okay? I think that this is great because this reminds me of the theme of today's video, okay, which Josh asked about a little while back, about how to mix with people from different backgrounds, right? Like different walks of life, in a sense. Different upbringings, different state of mind, different, ethnicity. And I took a few understandings from the conference itself that I'm attending right now. Right now we're on like a lunch break type thing. And so, just speaking directly about your question, I think it's very interesting that I'm calling this going from confusion to fusion, okay? Confusion is the opposite of fusion, okay? Lack of integration, disintegration, okay? Separation. There's an in-group and there's an out-group, okay? What I learned today, which was very fascinating, is that a lot of the times culture has such a big impact on how we perceive ourselves and how structures are even created, okay? Like religions. Or, for instance, I'm in India right now and we have the caste system, okay? I'll speak about that later. However, understand that when you are in flow state or in group flow with these friends, these people that you're meeting with, okay, and the question was primarily, let me just give you a bit of a background. Josh asked about how can you merge with these different kinds of people. He's not really used to that, right? And so I would say get into flow state activities with them, because when you're in the zone with somebody else, the self and the other merges oftentimes, okay? Self and other merging is a very, very important component of flow state, okay? So if you're both playing basketball, you can get that sense of connectedness even without saying a word. Maybe you can't understand their accent, but you can play something with them, right? Chess or crosswords or whatever it is, some kind of flow state activity that you guys do together, okay? And embracing and exploring those peak performance states will be key in that diversity, in that bridging of the gap, okay? The second thing is very simplistic to say, to be honest. It's much harder to do, but it is to get to know them better. Okay? And you can only get to know them better by understanding them. Okay? Where are they coming from? What is their point of view? And perhaps you won't get it right away. So it does come with a bit of digging. You got to understand, what are you as an animal in the jungle, right? Let's say you're a fox and you're trying to interact with like a jaguar. There's going to be a hesitation, right? There's going to be a little bit of like, all right, should I go up to him right away? Should I just pounce? Should I, sneak up by the bushes? Should I, right? Using that context of animals really helps you to explain this human to human interaction, because we're like different animals, man. If you look around, right, some dude looks like a pelican, right, with a big nose, and like he has the posture and everything, It's like that at times, right? Not to dehumanize people, obviously, but you know what I'm saying, right? So that's the thing, getting to know them better. Other thing is to perceive a threat instead of seeing it as a threat, like these people, I don't know them, and so, I'm going to vilify them or like say that, oh, they're different from me. Instead of that, man, what you got to do is you got to reach some kind of negotiation, compromise, cooperation, and regulate your nervous system, okay? And you do that through going from a fight or flight state to a more rest, digest, relaxation state. So the key word here is just relaxation. You just got to feel comfortable in their presence. Even though you don't understand certain things, just focus on comfort and building that relaxation in the moment. When uncomfortable topics or different things are brought up, you simply focus on relaxing. You focus on letting go, letting it sink in, letting the moment emanate, and letting it happen, okay? But also, obviously, keeping strong to your boundaries and what you know to be true, right? And your own worldview. So not constantly sacrificing, right? But being a little bit lenient, right? And open-minded. I would say face it with no mind or mushin, you know? Open, flexible, compassionate mind that allows you to merge with this other person, okay? I'd also say try not to be judgmental, because when you're being judgmental of someone else, it really blocks your ability to learn anything about them, right? So there might be some prejudice or something in the background, but rather than being judgmental, and sometimes we do need to be judgmental, just saying, right? Like, I mean, in terms of discernment, like you got to know that, okay, these people are safe or unsafe, right? Or, okay, this is going way too overboard, right? So you got to know how to handle yourself in those situations too. But I would say instead of getting judgmental, become curious, right? Start asking really good questions. They say something in a funny way, or they, you know, bring up a topic you're uncomfortable with, ask them questions. Why are you bringing that up right now? Oh, are you comfortable with what I just said? Right? These little clarifying questions will get you the vibe, right, that is being generated. So, you know, it could be that they have a different kind of style, different kind of music, different kind, right? And slowly embracing that different style or different music genre, or getting yourself, like, I remember, man, I lived in so many countries. You guys know this, right? So in the UK, when I actually went there, question about UK, right? I was in East London, so that's very different than when I went to Central London, and then I noticed, you know, different accents from, you know, much more, let's say, Cockney, right? British accents, and more, you know, very high class, like kind of posh British, right? There's a difference. There's a very distinct difference that you can hear in the dialect, in the accent itself, right? And usually it connotes something, right, about the person's socioeconomic status or whatever it is, right? Like, more eloquent people will be able to articulate much better, rather than say, oh, yeah, mate, what's going on, mate? Right? Like a kind of stringed up bunch of words, like almost like mumble rap, right? So there's a difference in the way that they might speak. But guess what you got to do? You got to locate yourself. Where am I? You got to locate yourself based on your values. Okay? What do you believe in? What is true to you? Using this very vague example of the caste system, actually I learned this today. In India, they have a caste system, okay? And it started by this understanding that Brahma, the god of all gods, right? His head is the top of the caste, Brahmin. I was born Brahmin, but hey, I didn't choose it, okay? It's like, the caste system is weird because it's like, you're just kind of born into it. Right? It's not like you can use your talents to rise up the ladder, or, you know, you can't do any of that. You're just there. It is what it is, right? You are dealt with the deck of cards that they grew up with. And that's kind of terrifying to think about. And I can't even resonate with somebody in a lower caste who's like an untouchable. You know, what experience are they really going through, you know, creating that isolation and that distancing, and always being in the lower, right? So it goes from top of the head Brahmin, right? Arms is Kshatriya, Shudra, and then the legs are like, you know, the lowest caste. And it goes like that, right? It's this corporeal understanding of a god figure, which became a structure of society, bro. You get how trippy that is, right? That's trippy to me, man. And once we really get to that understanding, we get that a system is like a corporeal system too, right? So you are a system, they are a system. Now, how do two systems simultaneously merge together to combine a third system together? Right? That's what you're looking for. So you have your background, your understandings, the way you do things, your idiosyncrasies, your little quirks and habits and twitches that just don't go away unless you bring awareness to them. Right? If you bring awareness to it, like let's say you're in a public gathering and you have a tendency to look at your watch all the time, now you can bring awareness to the fact, hey, I'm doing that again. Okay, now I need to back to conversion, like pushing yourself, right? Challenging, it's not a threat, it's a challenge, right? So again, reminding yourself that without diversity, without any kind of diversity, there would be stagnancy, okay? There would be no novelty, no newness, new, eccentric and energizing and adventurous experiences in life. You just stick to your own group of people and that's it. You kind of get jaded like that too. You get cynical, you get jaded, you start being stagnant, right? Only hanging around your small group of friends, never exploring, never going outside of your realm of comfort, right? So again, remind yourself that don't have this authoritarian way of dealing with these situations. However, study their environment. So let's say they grew up in let's say the projects or wherever, right? Different apartment complexes. Go and visit those places and see what is it that they're experiencing? What is it that it's like over there, right? Kind of like a David Attenborough approach, like a kind of, National Geographic study, ethnographic study, right? Of whoa, there's this culture in it, and they do these things like this. That's kind of interesting. That's kind of intriguing, man. Right? Someone might find it intriguing that we eat with our hands. Somebody else might find it dirty that Indian people eat with their hands, right? Bro, you better wash your hands really often. If you're eating with your hands, then listen. You got to understand there's a cultural context, okay, to everything. This cultural context to merge with the food, the intimacy of really loving your food enough that you're touching it is a very unique and sacred experience. So if you've never eaten with your hands, maybe you had a pizza slice or something, right? It's difficult to eat rice with your hands, man. I know I found it very I grew up abroad most of my life, right? Now being back here in India, I'm really starting to understand the cultural significance of these different things. Like for instance, right, in India you don't give money with the left hand because, well, we wash our ass with this one hand, right? And so it's just a sign of respect, right? It doesn't mean that people are going to be like, oh, whatever, right? They're not going to reject your money, right, if you give them cash. But it will just be like a little bit of oh, this person is completely unaware of my culture, right? You're going to get that. So it's about wisdom over ignorance. That's how we're going to merge with people. That's how we're going to bridge, bridging diversity. Is it called bridging diversity? No, containing diversity and bridging difference, right? That's how we're going to bridge the differences, yo. Okay? And also become aware of your unconscious biases, your own prejudices, your own hateful, that's shadow work, right? That's real shadow work where you're looking and you're like, I feel uncomfortable around these kinds of people. Or, hey, I was raised in a household that taught me something like this. Or, my Catholic upbringing, or my Buddhist understanding, or, my Hindu context will give me different enriching experiences that I can learn from. And that's where you truly get your power back, man. When you start asking really good questions, you start diving a little bit deeper, rather than just being like, oh, they talk weird, that's kind of funny, I wish they wouldn't do that, and, fuck them, right? Instead of, you see, I was trying to find a link between it, the word discrimination and crimination, but I didn't. But let's take that example of facing it with no mind, mushin, right? No prejudices, no judgments, no assumptions, no, justifications, no stereotypes, just no mind, presence. So practice just being present when they're there, right? And you said it's from mutual friends, so they're not always around. It's not like you have to be constantly on watch and be aware like that. Right? You can just chill. You can you don't have to mix with people all the time, right? You can just also chill back, be in your own space. But I'm just saying that would be a very, very important learning lesson, just in how to bridge the gap, right? Bridge the difference between two people that are seemingly very different. They're having trouble understanding each other. I remember, when I was in Switzerland, I had a neighbor named Elias. He would just we would just talk in sign language, bro, and we would play video games together. That's how we connected. Yeah. And we would get it. We would even make little, sexual innuendos and jokes and stuff, even if we don't get it, right? We would still do that. And so there is this, link connecting each other. And that's magical. Coming from a mystic, that's truly magical. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hope you're watching. I like how the last person they commented first on my video. Never gotten that, I don't think. Well, maybe I've gotten that. Anyway, have an incredible day. Let's get it. May the flow be with you. May you never be the same again. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell. You already know the deal. Let's go.